46, 44, 41, 23, 41, 46. Ready, Hutch?
Yeah, you're live, man.
All right. All right, guys. Let's jump into the futures as we always do. Futures pushed seriously low from where they closed. I think they closed around here somewhere, which is this somewhere around here, 40 to 65, somewhere around. Where did they close here? 16. Yeah, I think somewhere around here, 42, 50, somewhere around here. Futures close here, try to push up. We know this pattern. What happens here? Goes out, goes hit the five, starts to push back down, and that's the phase we are in right now. So after this push down, I think it is trying to curl back up here. I'm expecting a hit of five and then probably a hit of eight. This is what I'm expecting, 42, 78, 75 near term, which is based on 1 hour chart. If I believe there is enough momentum for this to push into 44.75 base case to the upside, and then probably there's a good enough chance that will hit 42.94. By the likes of it, the way it got oversold, the way many stocks got seriously hit, especially something like Apple and Microsoft, which is about 11 to or close to 12% of S&P. The way they got hit, I'm expecting if this starts to pull back up, most likely it will at least at the open. I think the futures will push into this number. We will reassess though the situation around here, 42. This is 42.75, 42.76. This is where we'll reassess the situation. And on the daily side of things, picture doesn't look very nice. Although the reason that I'm looking for a bounce is simply because this is oversold here. Williams are generally, we have seen this when it hits almost at minus or negative 100, we will get a bounce. That's what it's been like. And this time, I don't believe it's going to be anything different. Most likely a bounce. And if the earnings come in good, I think 43.30, and then it will have to go back and test this 43.70 line. Well, good 100 points, 100 plus points actually, 100, 120 points. Am I expecting this to happen tomorrow? Probably not. Probably not. Why? Because simply the retail or in general, they people will not participate this to the upside because it's been a severe sell-off, better than 100 points out of nowhere. All the conditions were the exact same, and yet VIX sort of rallied. So it's yeah, it's up to people to figure that one out. But I think majority of the retail, at least majority of the retail or uninformed money, will try to bet it to the upside, and I think they'll get shook out. Basically, this week is all of the big tech earnings, right? Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and there are some like small other ones like Activision and whatnot. But these are the ones that we want to be watching: Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. These are the four ones that you want to be watching. So the way that you want to be playing that stuff is either through, you can do I can either you can go directly with a stock, or you can go cumulative on either Qs or triple Qs, or directly SPY, SPX, or you can do that. Or the other way you can play is through XLK. Right, that's a tech ETF. You can play this thing through that as well. So perhaps buy two calls, two puts, or whatever ratio that you want to do. So The other thing that I'm looking at it, besides these getting oversold conditions here, the reason that I'm looking for a bounce here is because uh, the earnings, right? So I am pretty sure majority of the market participants will have the same thing at the back of their head, that the earnings. What if the earnings come in good? If they are short and if they get caught shorting and the earnings come in good, which is generally the case right now, the earnings have so far been coming in good, yet the stocks are getting clobbered. Right. So what if Apple earnings come in good? What if Microsoft earnings come in good? What if Google's earnings come in good, or Amazon's earnings come in good? Nobody want to get caught short. And if Apple rips like $5-6, like last time it did about $11, then yeah, you don't want to get caught short in that kind of a scenario. So I think that's another reason that shorts will start to cover before the big earnings. And if you mostly my I want to play Amazon more than any other earnings at this moment, any other big tech, and maybe Microsoft, perhaps, but Amazon is what I want to play, and I don't want to play the earnings as such. I want to play the volatility up to the earnings. So I think Amazon is what, Thursday or Wednesday, I believe, whatever the day is. I want to be buying a bit out of the money, depending on what the markets do. Out of the money calls or puts. And if you are someone who want to play the earnings themselves, so you have to go in the money or add the money. Probably buy could buy 1:1 calls or puts. And I the other thing is that now the markets have sold off so much, and there's not a whole lot of downside prediction as of today. Or as of now, there's not a lot of downside prediction as of now. So that being said, uh, uh, so the reason that I want to play IV rather than the earnings themselves. So what happened with Tesla? Same scenario I'm expecting with the other ones as well. What does that mean? It simply means that if the IV, I mean, if uh, the expected move is not more than 5% post earnings, then it will result in an IV crush, right? Whatever your calls are put, whatever the premium is, it will get eaten. Even though the stock is moving in your favor, it will your premium will get suffer. Your premium will suffer. So that's the reason I don't want to get involved in that way. I want to play IB, and I want to get out of that before earnings itself. That's how I want to play that. And mostly I'll be looking to play Amazon. Otherwise, I'll stick to my regular routine, which is play the earnings through Qs or XLK or any other ancillary stock, which let's say, for example, on Netflix, I was looking to play Facebook, right? Because that was a correlation there that if Netflix, last time, whatever Netflix did, that was, uh, I mean, Facebook also did, a 20% push down. So the thesis was that if Netflix starts to push down further, then obviously it will have a negative effect on Facebook. That was the correlation there, and it worked out perfectly. It's a different matter that I was not able to take advantage of that situation, but I don't know if somebody did. Good for them. Although I came out with, even after charting whatnot, I sold 197 puts. I got caught in that whole mess, and but I got out of that mess selling more calls at the money or out of the money, a little bit of the money, all the way from 200 all the way to 207.50. So that trade worked out well for me. So I'm trying to figure out what is the correlation, if there is any other correlated stock within. If let's say Apple misses, right? So what happens if Apple misses? Then I want to look. I don't want to be playing Apple directly. because there will not be a lot of momentum there. Perhaps it will move like what, $3 to $4, or if Apple tends to move like $10 to the downside, then that will be a meaningful bet on Apple. Otherwise, I want to play something like an AVGO, right, or Qualcomm, something around those names, which are Apple proxies. And reports been circulating that Apple is weakening actually. So I don't know how far true those reports are, or whatnot. But yeah, I don't really go by speculation there. So that's the reason I want to play something that I can actually, make money off of. Maybe something like a Qualcomm, or maybe something like a Broadcom, something like that. So look for Apple proxies. And there was another stock that I used to follow for an Apple proxy. It was a high beta stock, a small ticket item. I forgot which one was that. But yeah, so there are plenty of Apple proxies. Look for that and play accordingly. Microsoft, I don't believe there are a whole lot of proxies for Microsoft. Uh, so if Microsoft goes down, and it will, the sentiment sours beautifully. It will sour, to a degree that it becomes almost irreparable if Microsoft dives. So keep that in mind. If Microsoft pushes down, then you just go short Qs or XLK as a whole. And then you have, obviously, if Microsoft goes down, and then Facebook will not have any shot of coming out of it. Most likely Facebook will push below 168, or whatever that number is, if Microsoft pushes down, maybe up till 135. But yeah, Microsoft has that kind of effect on many stocks. It doesn't really have a proxy that you can play, but there are. Microsoft would be a big sentiment indicator, because they're one of the biggest, diversified software company. They are into cloud. They are into software services. They are into actual core software, PC shipments, yada yada yada. You know what I'm saying, right? So if, let's say, for example, Microsoft comments about something like a cloud business, it will affect Google and Amazon. And there's something called Box. There's something called what was the other one? So whatever cloud services, you can look into that. And if Microsoft says Windows sales are down, then you immediately go towards something like a Dell, or something like which sells or what is that other one, HP, or whatever that is. You can immediately go towards that. Or software services, you can immediately go towards something like a CRM or Oracle. So yeah, you could look at things that way. Then if Yeah, so if Microsoft pushes down, then obviously you'll have a whole lot of other litany list of things that will push down with it. And Tesla will not be any exception. Tesla did not partake in the downside Friday, and I have no idea why, but I don't know who had a bid under that Tesla stock. But for whatever reason, Tesla did not partake in the push down. So let's see how that plays out tomorrow. I will be watching futures probably late into the night tonight. I'm expecting futures to actually come back into this number. Most likely, it will come back into this number. Not this number. This number. Now it has come down to 42.68. A minute ago, it was about 42.75 or something like that. It's come down. But when technicals push down towards the price, it is never a good sign. Yet we have hope here that it is oversold. And if we get a MACD crossover on the 1 hour, most likely it will start pushing. Algos will come into picture, and algorithms will see this, detect this stuff, and they'll start pushing it into at least this number. Then we'll reconsider the whole situation once it hits the 8. The mean is sitting around, right as of now, 43.24, something like that. Am I expecting that? Maybe not. Not as of now. As of now, I'm not expecting any of this stuff. And yeah, so here's another thing that keep in mind: the monthly mean. The monthly mean on the regular candles is at 441.50, give or take. So a good 100 points from where we are now. On the Heikin Ashi side of things, it is at 41.26, though 125 points from where we are right now on the future side of things. We will reconsider all of this scenario in the morning, and we'll come up with a range to trade within. And if you're someone who trades futures, then or if you are someone who wants to dabble with futures, understand that the tick is not the same as the regular index tick. The tick for futures is different, and every index futures have different ticks. What do I mean by that? Futures for ES has 12.5 as a tick, whereas futures for Nasdaq has 5 as tick. Right. So if you need to understand the math behind what happens with futures, then go play with that. Right. So let's jump into. I'm not gonna open the 1 hour. Maybe I'm gonna open the daily. Let's open the daily SPX. So 42, whatever this number, I was looking for 42.70 as the bottom, and it pushed below that. And on the Nasdaq side of things, I was looking for, where is that? Next weekly. Anyone hold anything over the weekend? Yeah, I did. I did. I'm swinging calls, uh, Justin. He is not in the voice. Okay, so yeah, I am holding calls, and I sold some puts for Tesla. So let's see how that goes. And 1770. No, this is Nasdaq. Why am I looking at this number? Oh, there. That's the reason I was looking for this number. On Friday, I think this I was looking for this 12,830 towards the end of the day, and that's what I think I tweeted also. And well, apparently, whatever this line is here, and it's been a solid line for about a good 6 months. So, well, if it happens to hit that number and bounce, we're bouncing off a good level. And if that breaks, then we're looking to push into another, well, good $1,000 basically. As of now, I'm not looking for that $1,000 points push down on Nasdaq. As of now, I'm not looking for that. Qs may push into 319, very possible. But right now, as of where things stand, I am not looking for any of that stuff. 319, 294, nope, not looking for that as of now. So if this breaches here, then we will see how things react, and we will reassess the situation. And past 2 months, Feb and March, have tested this line here, and give us decent bounces of this line. So I'm expecting this to hold as of now, and even if it comes back down like about another 300 points, well, reassess. Let's reassess there, right? As of, I mean, let's see where things open tomorrow, and then let's reassess how things go from there. So 42, 45, somewhere around here. Now, if it were to open right now, it is trading somewhere around here, 42.50. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. All right, so So to the downside on SPX, SPX. Let's see weekly. All right, so this is what is on the monthly side of things, and the monthly uh, SPY or SPX 4135. This has to bounce here. This has to bounce here. I don't doubt that. If it pushes all the way into this number, about 4155, another good 75 points from here, this will have to bounce according to the regular candles about here, 4150, give or take. So where we close at 4270, a good 70 points, 50, 20, 70 points. And according to this, about 60 points. No, sorry, 70, 80, 90 points. So let's see how, if it pushes below here, I think it will bounce here. As of now, I'm not even pricing this as of where things stand. As of now, I'm not pricing in this number either 4155. I think we should bounce based off of this number. I think you should bounce, and let's see if we can price the upside. Yeah, this is right here. So 26. Yeah, I think it should come back in this number. I think right now, if SPY were to be open, I think it is trading way below here somewhere, and it should come back around here. 424, it is trading somewhere around here. This number 423, it should be trading around here. I think as if it opens around here, and it should come back and test this number 425, 426. Let's reassess the situation there. But if it clears here around 426.30 or 426.50, I think it should come back and test this number for at least 430. Even if you the nearest average is here 434, and if it comes up here, it is trading. Let's say it's trading around 423, or even around here 424. But let's say 423. So between 423 and the nearest moving average 434, let's say if it comes down around 430, that's still good enough. That would still be considered a win. As of now, I'm not expecting this 4025 to hit. I am somewhere between, if it rejects here around 426, then most likely it will push down into the monthly mean, which is sitting at around here. Uh, let's first hit this thing 4150. So if it breaks down at the super trend, which is here, then it will push into 4150. So that's my base case for the downside. uh, let's see here. So as of now, I don't want to plan a base case. Well, let's put it up. Let's put it up. Why not? 4207. Where is the daily? Let's see the daily first. Right. So on the daily, we have exhausted everything. By the way, watch this thing, right? We are still kind of oversold here on the daily stuff. Still oversold daily, and this is daily, right? Okay. And let's go back to the weekly. And my base case to the downside is here, around 4204. So let's give it. Let's round that up at 4200. That would be about 70 points from where we closed. And if that breaks below, then we are looking for 4150. So that's how I want to play that. I'm not plotting anything below 4150 as of now. Not plotting anything below 4150 as of now. 4204 should be my base case to the downside. And if it starts to push up from there, 4276, and that's where we closed. And if it starts to clear up 42, this number 4279 and 42, whatever this number is, 4276, then we can look for a push into 4300. And that's my base case to the upside, 4300. And if it clears there, then we can start to push into 4350 or 4360. Well, we will, yeah, that would be a nice to have, a good to have, 4350 number. But to the upside, base case should be 4280, and 4294 is a good to have. So let's round that up at 4300. At 4280 is a base case, 4300 is a nice to have. If it clears there, we'll reassess the situation. And to the downside, 4200 is the base case. If it breaks there, 4150 is the next line. So that's how I want to play that. Expecting IXIC, in fact, NASDAQ to bounce from where it is as of where it is right now. It's hitting. Oh, you're correct, whatever you said. So expecting a bounce here for Nasdaq. This is a good level, and it's been there for about 6 months. It has bounced off of that number twice. So let's see how that plays. And as of now, 325 to 319. Well, not really planning, but if it comes down there, this is where it should bounce. 319. It has bounced off of that number twice. And if it just opens there and hits that number and starts to bounce off of that number, it wouldn't surprise me at all. It is breaking all kinds of moving averages. All right. Uh, does anybody want to go into Tesla? Why the heck not? So, but anyway, so let's plot this thing. Apple. Apple on the monthly is yeah, me too, Nate. But as of now, I don't want to do that. As of where things stand, I don't want to do that simply because there is still very much strength around this number. It's been testing that number, it's been holding well on that number. If it breaks there, then we can reassess the situation. It's been holding off of that number really nice. But before that, let's jump into Apple. Apple is holding up this 8 very, very, very decent. And my expectation for it to bounce from its 8. And bounce, how far? Probably 166.26. No, maybe too much. I think I'm asking for too much there. But we'll plan the upside. I think for now, if it bounces, I'll cap it here around 166. 160, 179 to 166. That is still a good number, about $5. That is still a very good number. $4, sorry, $4. That is still a very good number. However, if it breaks below this number, which I'm sure majority of the market participants are watching this number, the 8, the line in the sand here, if it breaks below that, then we are looking for a push into this number, 149.60, right? Or at least here into this number, which it did last month. So we should test the last month lows, which is about 149.70 or something like that. So let's see how that goes there. So that's to the downside. Uh, oh yeah, this needs to be tested. Most likely this will get tested. And the earnings are 28. When is 28th? 28th is Thursday, right? So Thursday. So let's look at it this way. By Thursday, if it comes down to this number, then I would want to play calls. for IV capture again, right? If it comes down here, I wanna capture this IV. I wanna play this to the to calls if it hits this and pushes up here. And for now, as of immediate reaction, I want to be because it is hitting the 8 on the monthly, so it should hit that 8 and bounce. So that's what I'm expecting there. But till earnings, if it comes down to at least 158, whatever number, so if it breaks here currently, wherever that is, it should come down into this number 157.82. That itself should do plenty of damage to the market, right? And beyond that, we will reassess the situation tomorrow. If it comes back into this number, we will reassess the situation. But if it actually breaks below there, then it should come back into this number and bounce off of this number. And again, if the earnings are bad, there you go. Or even if the earnings are good, but the street deems the earnings as bad, this is where it will push into 143. And I'm pretty sure it will bounce here. Why? Because it's been creating this base for more than about 5 months, so or close to 5 months. It should be a good base. It should act as some seriously good base here. But as of now, yep, there. So on both the sides, it is showing there is something there that it will bounce off of that number. So let's see how that plays out. Apple on the daily, it is doing the same exact thing. Let's look for a hit of this number. So this is how I want to play it immediately. If it breaks the 8 on the weekly, should come back into this number, probably bounce, ephemeral.
Ismail सुन लिया है पका?
Yep, whatever you said.
हाँ?
Who's that?
Oh, sorry about that, guys. I didn't thought I was on mute.
Hey, Adnan. All right, so come back in there. Let's test this number 161.25, and I'm expecting an ephemeral bounce. 160.59, again an ephemeral bounce. And if it tests this number 158.97 or 159, this should be a valid bounce point. This should be a valid bounce point. 200 on the daily is a valid bounce point. So even after ephemeral bounce tomorrow, if Apple bounces right at the open, I am still looking to short Apple into this number. This will get tested. Cool. This will get tested tomorrow. 159 will get tested. Ephemeral bounce, then this should be a good bounce spot. Even if I am unable to short, this is where I'll look for a large position, put on a large position, and then run up into this number at least. That's how I want to play that. Microsoft, I am pretty sure there's the same explanation for Microsoft as well. Okay, what is happening here? Average is starting to push down. Okay, with Microsoft, well, average is starting to push down. I'm expecting this average to actually push up. But anyways, so if if I had to bet on one company to run up into the earnings, this would be that one. This is pretty much indispensable. Doesn't matter recession, non-recessionary. Yeah, revenue will take a hit. Obviously, revenue will take a hit. But otherwise, this company is both your growth company because they are very aggressive with whatever the technology that they're going into, and also this is a legacy company. This is indispensable, basically. Besides, the only area that they lack in is mobile presence or the cell phone presence. Besides that, or the whole infrastructure that supports the mobile functionality or the app store business. That's the only business that these guys lack in. And besides that, I think this company is indispensable. So for you to run your PC and whatnot, for organizations to do whatever the business that they do, this is indispensable. So I would still look for a push up. You know, maybe till earnings, or when are these earnings coming out? 26. Yeah, most likely I'm expecting a run up in Microsoft. But if it doesn't, obviously I'll short it, right? I am not biased, but as an educated guess, I would expect this to push up into the earnings. Uh, but would I would I bind myself to that statement? Obviously not. Right? Neither should you. 258, 260, well, doable? Yeah, doable. Why not? Given the market conditions, doable. Anything, any tech major slips, this will push in here. When is Google's earnings? 26. 26 is going to be a. Yeah, so 26 seems like it's going to be a eventful day. Let's watch for that. Let's pull up on the monthly. Okay. This is where it is headed. That's not even debatable at this moment. 269, 270, this is where it is headed. Most likely it will bounce there, and around 267 it has to bounce. But if it breaks there, then we'll push into this number, 258. The technicals are pointing to the downside, uh, but the earnings related scenario might change that. So what does that mean? How do you play that? So simply, even if you're not participating in earnings, if the earnings come in good, this is where it is headed, 304. If you're no, not 304 here, 296, this is where it will head into. Even if the earnings come good, then we can reassess the situation here around 296, 297. Most likely, if everything goes well, if other earnings come in good from other big tech, and this is where it is headed, 305. Right, I'm not plotting it anything beyond this. Probably the first would be 296, then probably here 305. Do not want to plot it all the way till here, but this is the scenario if the earnings come in good from Microsoft as well as any other thing that is reporting on that day. I think Google is reporting on that day. So if both of those companies come in good, yeah. And if both of the companies miss on their earnings, or street deems that as insufficient earnings, this is where Microsoft is headed. 250 or 260, whatever this number is, this is where it will push into. A bounce here, yes, most likely a bounce here, then here, and then we are pushing into this number 259, right about here. This is not too far. It's about what, 14, 15, 16 points from where it is right now. And not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. And well, this stock should not be actually trading here. Think if the multiples, contract, then it will push back into P is about 29. This is, uh, let's see, what is Netflix's P right now? 19. This is much in line now. This is much in line. 19.8. This is much in line. And this is still high. 27 is still high. Uh, let's see. This is still high. There we go. This multiple has come in. Right, so this is what we want to see. Multiples have to come down. And for Facebook, pretty much this is what needs to happen. 172. Most likely, any push tomorrow to the downside, Facebook will hit 172. Look for a bounce here. 172 bounce. When is the earnings? 27th. And if Facebook misses earnings this time, then we are looking for a push, maybe much larger to the downside. Much larger push to the downside. Facebook. Again, I don't want to sit in the stock and find out what the earnings would look like or whatnot. So I would simply buy in puts, and because this is particularly vulnerable to earnings situation, I think I'll simply buy puts and wait for that stock to push down into this number, and probably take my exit before earnings themselves. Doesn't matter which way earnings come in, I'll still be okay with that. Or I can just simply take that those profits and probably buy something out of the money somewhere around here or somewhere around here, the upside or to the downside or both, and just sit on with the earnings there. And how do I want to do that? If you have account size, simply sell some calls here and then use those proceeds to buy some calls about here, right? 200 somewhere around here. This should be good. I'd be looking to do the same thing. And put side, I don't want to speculate on the put side, so I would not sell anything on the put side. What does that mean? I don't want to be actively or passively short. No, no, no. What am I saying? I don't want to be passively long. I don't want to be passively bullish on the stock, right? So why? Because if it comes down there and it starts to push down, I would get caught here. And so I don't want to get caught on this bullish side of things. I would be passively short, but I don't want to be passively long this stock. Or I can be actively short as well. But here is where, if I want to go actively short, this is where my point would be to get actively short. And again, I would fund this transaction by selling some out of the money puts here, and use those proceeds to buy this at the money or in the money puts. That's how I want to play this one. Uh, but again, my favorite one or my preferred one would be Amazon. Why? Because it's a big ticket item, so it would the premiums would get really fast, to either side. The premiums will move really fast on this one. So that's the reason I want to get involved with this. 2381. Well, not really pricing in 2381 as of now. 300-point move. Well, why not, right? Why not? So let's see. 25. So this is the put I want to be buying. But here's the thing that I'm so reluctant about, either buying puts or calls. So what's the difference between last week earnings with Tesla and the coming week earnings with all of these tech companies? Last week Tesla was the only one that would have moved the market. So let's say Microsoft earnings and Google earnings and Facebook earnings comes in good, and this stocks pushes up. Now the premium that you have paid here will go not this will theta will jump on this premium. So that's the reason I don't want to get involved right away. I want to wait till probably one day before earnings. That's how I want to play that. Even to the IV, even for the IV, that's how I want to play that. So if you're not playing for IV, if you're playing for the stock itself, then probably this is where you want to buy the calls, 32.90, 32.20, and then probably you want to do put somewhere around here. This would be, even I think this would be too bad, too far away. Most likely you want to be doing maybe somewhere close to money, 2,800 or something. And if the earnings come in bad, then probably you can look for this to push down into 27, 21 at the minimum, and probably this is the number it will push into, 25, 20. So Amazon expecting this number, about good 300 points to the downside. Let's see if we can have that on the monthly. Yeah, I think monthly is pointing the same number as well, somewhere around 25, 30, whatever this number is. So yeah, 300 points to the downside on for Amazon. Most likely scenario, this will happen if Amazon either misses, or if the street deems their numbers as not good. So last time, the previous quarter, which was this one, 3rd February. So the earnings here, you see this 600 plus surprise. This was because of the Rivian. Estimated was 3.6, came in about 27. So this number was because of Rivian. And look at this. Even though the EPS was better, the top line was better, the bottom line they missed. Not by a much, not by a whole lot, a few $1 million, but still they missed on the bottom line. And you want to see their earnings. Yeah, where do I get all the earnings? What's showing up here? Right. So even the earnings, all the earnings, they were still good. I think earnings, usually Amazon beats on earnings. They miss out here and there, but by and large, they beat or meet the expectations. And I'm expecting this time, most likely, earnings they will not be able to meet the beat the expectations this time. Most likely, it will be a down quarter, and I want to play that stock to the downside. So let's see how that goes. Google, same thing. Expecting Google to probably hit this number tomorrow, and this is on the monthly side of things. 2362, we're almost there. It should hit that number. It should hit that number and first bounce, probably back into 2535. Maybe that's a little too much to ask as of where things stand, but look for a bounce here. About 30 points down, look for a bounce. If it doesn't bounce there, or if it's an ephemeral bounce, which it very well will be, then I think it should push down into this number, 2195. So we could look for puts there. And the other thing, this is making a crossover right here on the monthly side of things. Keep a watch on that. Now, the other problem with shorting or buying puts on these names is this splits. So if this split, this is expected to be a bullish split. So if the split happens whenever that is, January, July, whatever this is, after the split, let's say Google or Amazon gets included into Dow, right? Dow index. So what would that do to the stock? Obviously, it will push it up. So that's another thing that you need to reconsider. So play accordingly. Play the earnings accordingly. 22, yeah, most likely 22. Why not? So 2360, give or take 50 to 60, 2350 to 2360, first bounce, ephemeral bounce, and then probably we're looking for it to push into this number 2240. Not really pricing in this number as of now, not really pricing in 1720. That would be insanity as of today. But who knows? Things change, and we might really start looking into those numbers as well. But as of now, where things stand, looking for a bounce of around 2350. If 2350 to 2360, which should be somewhere around here, this number. Ephemeral bounce probably push into 2562, 200, maybe. Why not? Why not? If the earnings come in good, we might push into that number as well. Then if that breaches, then we're looking for a push into 2616. And after that, this is what we are looking for, 2243. All right. Does anybody have anything else that they're looking for? And this is 10-year, and this has to come back down. And I'm still looking for it to come back down into this number. The 10-year at least have to come back down into this number. and there it is. It should hit this number 2.83, and a break below that number should push it into 2.7. That would be a good to have. That would be a very nice, you know, this would be very welcome. And then let's also plot, not really looking much at oil these days. Oil, we all know how it is going to end up. Uh, so not looking at that picks. This thing pushed brutally higher, about 25 points, 25 points. And I was going long the markets when it was hitting right here, 2778 or whatever this number was. I went long, market gave us 30 points to the upside, immediate push, 44, 43.80, something like that, or 43.20, I think. All the way from 43.20. Yeah, that's right. Continuous down day. There. So this is the bounce. I think 42.80 to 43 whatever this number was. 43.15. Okay. And exited that trade there. Went short here. I think it was hitting this number and bouncing off of somewhere here. Exited my probably here. I think exited my short here. And then towards the end of the day, picked up a call for 27th. I forgot what's the strike. I think 4:30 strike. I picked up 4:30 strike, 27th expiration. I'm expecting that to push up 42.80, come back into here, 42.93. So this is what I'm expecting tomorrow. Let's see how that plays out. Who's the other one? VIX, right? We are discussing on VIX. So this is where I'm expecting VIX to push into 28.76. Beyond that, I don't really have anything above that to go with. So we move on to the next level. It is hitting this number. So what happens if it clears here? Probably, on the Heikin-Ashi, we're looking for 29.19. Then this is where I'm expecting it to halt 30. So if I'm extending this line here, about 30. VIX 30 is where I think major breather should happen. VIX, look at this weekly crossover here. VIX was nicely in a downtrend, and it should have continued the downtrend. For some reason, this thing it stopped, and this thing started to push up. And it still looks like in its infancy. We can get another green candle here, green bar here. So let's see how this plays out on the daily side of things. It was dying here, and it kind of slowly came back up, and it cleared. This is where I was expecting it to actually stop moving higher, but it did clear that. And if it did clear that, then I was expecting it to stop here. And I actually went long. It worked out well for a minute there, but then it started to push up higher. So 28.76 next target. If that clears, then we are looking for a push into 29. Uh, is this 29 or 28.70? Then probably here 29.28. Then probably here around 30. 30 should be it for me. If it crosses 30, I don't really have a playbook for that. Then probably into this number 30 to 70 and whatnot. But as of now, I don't really have a playbook for that. And so much for the thesis that April is a bullish month. Turned out to be not a bullish month. It is what it is. And tomorrow I'll be watching BTC very much. This thing seems to be very correlated with the way market is moving, and I want to be watching this. So if I see Bitcoin pushing higher, Uh, for whatever reason, I don't know. It is if it does push higher. If it does push higher, then I'm assuming that I will assume that it would be an risk-off environment. Probably it should bounce somewhere around here, 38 to 90 or something like that. So we got a good 800 points to the downside. It let it hit this number and let's figure out how it behaves here. By that time, I think the technicals will be pretty sold, pretty oversold, and look for a bounce here. And hopefully, this bounce should continue into this number and into this number and probably into this number, 40,000. So hopefully, if hopefully this happens tomorrow. Hopefully, we get that number and hopefully it pushes into this 49, 40.9K. Not even plotting 41K, 40.9, maybe a little lower than that. Let's leave it at 40.9. So BTC seemed to be, sort of that uh, that uh, a gauge, if you will, to sort of look for a risk on or risk off environment. Let's see how that plays out tomorrow. And yeah, besides that, if you have any other any other stocks that you're watching, do let me know. Apparently, Darth has balls of steel. Okay. We single-handedly tried to keep Tesla up on Friday. Nice. Oh, got rocked. Okay, so didn't sell power. The second at 450. What the fuck? That ULAL. ULAL. Let's look at ULAL. Why are these things pushing up? I have no idea. Okay, technicals are there, and earnings, they sucked at earnings, and yet the stock is pushing up. Why? Okay, let's see.
I got them on the daily regular candles, Darth. They both
Oh,
got
nice.
huge gap ups, way over the 5.
Over
Yeah,
the
I
phone.
didn't look at AAL that much, but I went back over United Airlines, and it's pretty consistent that it will come back and fill those gaps
Oh yeah.
relatively
Oh
shortly.
yeah. Oh yeah. It will come back down. But then, how much downside do we have? About 2 points to the downside. Yeah, we'd get 2 points to the downside. But what if it starts to push up? Where is it going? This is where it is heading. 56, 15. But why is it doing that? I have no idea. Should it do that? I don't believe so. Given the conditions that we are in, probably this took off maybe because of that news that came out, the mask mandates and that whole COVID era mandates have come off. So you don't really have to have. I don't know what is that COVID passport still on, the vaccination passport. You have to be vaccinated to enter the country or whatnot. So that I think I don't know. I have no idea. That is if that is taken off or no. I don't know. And UAL, it's one of the best international airliners, and I think Hong Kong opened up uh, their uh, their airports to about what 26 other countries or something like that. So yeah, I think that's the reason it is pushing up. So to the upside, 54.66 is pretty much sitting there. If the market pushes up, 54.66 will happen right away. And if the markets continue to push up, 56.26 is where it should take a breather. If not, it should take a breather right here, right at this line, and it should start to come back down into this number, 47. That's how it should work out tomorrow. And AAL. Is it Starlink tracking? Nice. Doing it this week. No more AL data for you. Everybody knows about your thing. Hey, let me see, some other users. What do you think of oil with Macron back? What does oil got to do with Macron? I don't think there is anything to do with oil and Macron. Macron. Does that look like a head and shoulder? I have no idea. Historical monthly data is now officially out the window. Yes, it is. It is. It's totally fucked right now. Nothing like that for US. Just need negative tests. Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't know that. No, I think that thing was there that you can leave the country, but you cannot come back in if you're not vaccinated. I'm not sure though. I read somewhere they're already trying to reinstate the mask mandate for airlines. Yeah, yeah, I did. I did read that. I not read it. I think it came up on one of the TikToks that I was going through today. That it's going to be back. Justice Department is appealing. Yep, it is. This means I'm going to visit you all in the U.S. Nice. AAL. Yep, yep. It stopped right here. It spiked, but it stopped right here. So if it starts to come back down, it should come back down right here and push into this number 1939. Most likely, that's how it should work. Earnings, fair enough, 3%. Yeah, fair enough. But if it does push here, we are looking for 2176 to the upside. If it does clear 2176, we are looking for a push into this number and 2240, 2250. Let's round that up at 2250. I'm not expecting anything beyond that as of now. As of now, I'm not expecting anything beyond that. Monthly is still looking good for this one as well as UL. And let's see, to the downside. Yeah, 1969. It comes back down. So this is how it should proceed. This is where it should come back into 1992. If the market pushes up, then this is what we are looking for, a push into this number 2173. And if the market still pushes up, then we are looking for a push into 2245. But if the market starts to come down, a test of 1992 should happen and then break and push into 1939 and look for 1877. This is how it should proceed. This means I'm coming cat. CAT cat. It had to push down and it did push down. I think Thursday night, I think Hutch was looking for this cat. I don't know if it played Hutch or not, but yeah, it had to come back down, and it was overbought and whatnot, and it had to come back down. Another earnings 28th. Yep, let's see. I was actually looking for it to come back into this number, but it did go all the way here. And most likely, if it breaks there, and then we're looking for push into 214, look for an ephemeral bounce, and then we are pushing into this number 210, and the mean is sitting about right there. So if it comes back into its 50, I think it will test the mean as well, 209.97. So between 209, whatever this number is, and 210, look for a bounce around here. Breaks below that, easy 206. So very easy 206. So 10 points to the downside. And if CAT comes down, then you could look for a push down on URI, which is United Rentals as well. Okay, party time. Nice. Hey guys, so that's pretty much it from my end, and the floor is open if anybody has anything to talk about. Ed, so I'm seeing that coming back up total amounts and whatnot. So did you get it into your